Dr. Stone.
Dr. Stone flexing, right. Bro.
Immediately. No. Get the fuck out of here. Immediately.
No, fuck you.
No, fuck you. Old man Coon over here. Bro, just page 5. Just go to page 5 on Manga Stream and just bask. Bask in the glory of that.
That was coming later. Anyway, as I was
No,
saying.
that first, bitch.
Fuck you. Okay.
That shit killed me, bro.
This
He's
author
got a bitch. He's got a pimp and ride.
This author is flexing right now with these chapters, past few chapters. He heard Oda. He heard Oda was trying to teach his Kohai how to write manga. He was like, "All right, senpai, let me fucking show you. Let me show you how shit's done." He's flexing.
We need to go. Okay, so he's like, "Listen, Senku, do you have any idea how long it's been since you've been here? I've made some alterations to the design." You underestimate me. Like, this man, he's encroaching on Senku's territory. He did that shit himself. He made it like a real car.
This is a pimp.
Look at him. Look at him getting out. He's getting out and he's doing like the, all right, what do you got for me today? Like
he's like a mafia boss, bro. That's what he is. He's a mafia boss. He's literally pulling up, saying like, all right, what's the job for today, kids? Bro.
And then he explodes. Dick out. Dick first. Oh my god.
This man. Millions of dollars.
That shit killed me. But yeah, also just a friendly reminder yet again that they revived this chef over that guy's dad from the couple chapters ago. Every time they're like, "Oh, thank God for this chef," and I'm just like, that guy is just like, my dad could have been revived.
My dad's alive.
My dad's alive, suffering in his stone cage.
And it's crazy too. Thinking about it, this mirror.
You better not be eating while we're fucking filming this, bro.
I'm not.
You're going. Fucking stop.
I'm getting the bit out my teeth.
Stop! No one wants to hear that, bro.
Well, you're gonna hear it,
bitch. If we lose even one subscriber, I'm gonna beat your ass so hard.
Yeah, we lose one, then we gain like 50.
Bro, do not hubris. Hubris is the cause of everyone undoing. Do not do it.
Hubris? I don't know what that means.
Well, it's because you're an idiot, so we'll stay away from that one.
Anyway, the mirror. So,
hey Siri, define hubris.
Hubris means excessive pride or self-confidence.
Excessive pride or self-confidence. I knew I used that right.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, so fucking chill with it, alright? Hey, let's talk about,
the mirror.
Well, the mirror which led to the camera, okay?
Bro, so what's crazy to me is that I just realized this, but they probably haven't really seen themselves, like
only in water, right? Like, I mean, they would have maybe just in, like, creeks or ponds, but never an image this clear, for sure.
It made me think, like, wait a minute. Cause you, I mean, water, yeah, but at the same time, like, none of them, like, to me, it feels like none of them really, you know, because Chrome...
They have, for sure. Like, yes, he reacts, but you have to, like, this is just how people... To me, it's like, I assume it's just how clear it is, or how he can, like, you know, now I have it in my hand, you know what I mean? Because, again, like, it's not that uncommon to, like, see yourself in water, and they would have had to go down to water to get water a lot, so there's no way he's never seen himself, Thurman. But yes,
and I mean, he said, what is your manga? What does manga stream say?
I'll find
he says, then this is me. Does he say that?
I gotta find it. Where's what the heck is me? It's insane. Is this me? Yeah, but like, again, it's more of because it's this handheld thing. And also, even that doesn't make much sense. Like, honestly, I'll be honest with you, I think that it doesn't make much sense for him to have that reaction, because there's plenty of fucking, like, stones in, like, real life that have that kind of reflective thing as well, you know? Like, so, I think it's more, the only thing I can see him reacting to is the fact that, like, now it's just in, like, this portable handheld form, because he should have seen himself plenty of times in water as well as this, and, like, different minerals and shit, so, you know.
Chrome is just being Chrome.
I think Chrome is just being excited. I mean, but you do make a good point that we get so used to like having mirrors everywhere, but like we definitely see ourselves in the mirror way more than they do. Like or in general see ourselves like. You know, they might only see themselves occasionally, because here's the thing, right? If, like, the wind is rough at all, like, in order to see yourself in water, it's got to be, like, perfectly still. Like, no wind, no anything. So, I can imagine it's way less often. Like, maybe, like, once, twice a month they would see themselves in the water, you know? So, that's probably why. But no, what I wanted to talk about was Senku.
The camera.
The troll master Senku himself. Okay, nothing beats this huge emotional moment, which I legitimately got like, oh my god, like I love how this author does this, right? It's like, wow, you know, the camera, and that was her thing, and this character that, like, I remember when she first showed up, like the first time I remember her showing up, it was when she was running out of Tsukasa's place, and her literally the author, remember how he drew like her boobs jiggling? Like he specifically, there was a panel for that, you remember that shit?
Yeah, I remember.
That was the first time she showed up, and I was so sure she was going to be a ditzy, blonde, not important character. But then all of a sudden she has this moment, oh my god, she was a journalist, she was a photographer, she loved that was her thing, right? And I'm like, wow, this is a really awesome moment, I'll photograph, you know, oh man, I'll document the building up to this new world, and this camera, it's my camera, you made it for me, oh my god, and then Senku was like, everyone gets a camera, you get a camera, you get a camera.
Oh my god!
He just rolls up a card of him like, yeah, I made like 50. Not your camera's not important or special at all.
Bro, I kind of feel bad for her, bro, because she had that whole moment, right? Because, like, bro, imagine being a photographer. Because she literally held her camera in the hand. She was like probably one of the last people who hold a camera in her hand, and her camera breaks because of the thing, and then she finally. And I'm not gonna lie, Senku
has no like
with her emotions a bit there.
Well, go ahead.
I'll continue.
Oh, okay. Senku has no like the best word I'm thinking for it is like bedside manner. Even though it's like, you know, and you use that and like, you know, Senku's the kind of guy that would come in and be like, you know, like the doctor's like, there's no easy way to put this, you know, and then Senku's just like, you got AIDS, you got AIDS, you shouldn't have fucked so much. Like that's the kind of guy Senku is, right? Whereas, so yeah, I mean, I don't think he means to harm. I just think that he's a guy who thinks logically, right? Like, he is a science man, and he thinks through logic. So he's like, why would you be sad? There's more cameras. That's better, obviously. More is better. Look at his fucking face on page 12 where he's fucking wheeling the cameras over. Look at his face. He's so pure. He's like, hey, more cameras, yay.
He switches between big dick energy and you know, and
big dick energy and teddy bear I want to cuddle every night.
Sophisticated young one.
I'm so sophisticated.
And notice the names on the board too. Sencone.
Well, he made a fucking brand already. That's his camera brand.
Sencone.
I like that he brands everything. He's fucking Steam Gorilla had a fucking license plate and shit. Like, ugh. He's taking time to do the important things for sure,
bro. And Ryusu's like, bro, Senku, it's time for your camera op right here. You're gonna be the face.
That shit was awesome. I actually love that. I'm assuming you've seen that famous picture of Einstein before.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, bro. Like, that actually got me because like you can see the kind of shit that Senku holds dear to him, right? Like Senku. We see Senku so much as like this, you know, big dick energy leader, you know, he's the big man, like there's no one Senku looks up to, he's a god among men. But then you kind of remind yourself, you remember, no, he has heroes too, you know, his heroes are like famous scientists in our world, like Stephen Hawking, probably Neil deGrasse Tyson, Einstein. So like I love that like Senku, who's this mysterious guy who really like, I mean, he's almost, sometimes you look at him as like a more than human. Like he's a dude who just like he accomplishes so much, he's so smart. So like they're like, what kind of pose would he do? A guy like that, what would he do? And he chooses to emulate one of his heroes, Einstein. And I thought that was legitimately heartwarming and awesome. God, this manga's good, bro. Like
I really liked it too. It was, you know, I really liked how they processed that because they were like, think what's up with that pose? Like what pose is he doing? And then when I saw Einstein's photo, I was like, oh, I see. Bro, and fucking at the end, oh my god, that's one of the best ways to end a fucking chapter, bro.
With just his full face with the Einstein pose?
Yeah, that's fucking a phenomenal. Like you can tell the author and the artist really have a lot of love.
I love it.
Tell they put a lot of effort into the series. I'm really happy it survived the Almighty Axe. And
the Almighty Axe, yeah, bro. Can we just? Oh my god! Can we just take the time? All right, it's Senku Appreciation Hour, okay? We've really like jokingly like hyped up Senku and we talk about how much we love him, but can we just like actually seriously sit down and discuss how fucking good of a character Senku is?
Really well written.
Like, for like even more than just that, Thurman. Like legitimately, like it shocks me how good of a character he is. Like he's just so well developed. He feels like a real person, and yet he feels so unique, like unlike any character I've ever seen. Like, it really makes you think to yourself. Like, I was thinking about this earlier today. I was like, when you're watching something or reading something, it's almost hard to, like, put into words what makes a story good and what makes it bad, right? You can try to, but, like, I find that I'll watch shows that everyone else will say, oh, it's so good, it's amazing, and I'll hate it. Fate is a good example, right? You know, the Fate, whatever the fuck anime. Like, everyone's like, oh my god, Fate.
Fate Night.
Do you like Fate, by the way?
I like the
quick
fights.
Answer.
I like the fights.
But did it capture your interest at all? Yeah, okay.
I
Well, anyway.
played a visual novel.
So for me, Fate, right? Like, everyone was like, oh my god, Fate, oh my god. I was so bored with it. The characters were so boring to me and everything. I was like, oh my god. You know what I mean? But then, you know, like, and that makes me start to think, like, what makes, when you're watching something, what is it that makes one series immediately, like, I attach to the characters, I feel them, they feel real to me, they feel like friends and family to me, and then another series, it's just like you read it and it's just like, this is just a shitty fanfic, it's a story, I see it as words and pictures rather than actual characters, right? Like there's some there's some magical thing, like there's some skill that certain writers have, where they have the ability to just like, you know the term immersion, right? Like as a gamer, I hope you would. Like immersion is this like really interesting thing that I would love to delve more into and like actually look into the science of. Like when you're writing a story, there's something that like if you're just skilled enough, you can do this like magical thing where like you make your readers forget that you're reading a story. Like there are certain series where I forget that I'm reading a story and it just becomes complete engrossment in the characters and what they're doing and what they're saying. Hunter x Hunter is like this for me. One Piece is like this for me. You know, there's a lot of series that are like this for me.
Like that for you.
What's up?
Fullmetal Alchemist is like that
for
you?
Oh, hell yeah. Fullmetal Alchemist is fucking phenomenal at that. So, like, point being, right? There are some series that are like that. And then there's series like Recent Promised Neverland where every time I read it, I'm just like, God, it's just like, you know, like basically, you know, if you have a series where like, every time they're talking, it's just like, oh, I've heard that said a million times. Here's, you know, shonen cliche number 57. Like, we have to save everyone. But then you have series where they talk and they feel like real people are talking, right? So I guess the main point I'm trying to make here is Dr. Stone breaks that, or not even breaks. Let me re-say that. It pushes forth that immersion so well to the point where, like, every time I read it, it legitimately just feels like I'm watching real people do real stuff. You know, like, and I love that about stories. That's what continues to fascinate me about fictional stories and why I love talking about fictional stories so much, is that there are some that legitimately just engross you immediately. Like, that's the crazy part too. There are some chapters or series where I read like 2 chapters, 3 chapters in, and I'm like, I'm hooked. I love these characters. How is it that I can read a series, get 2 chapters into it, and be immediately connected to characters, and read other series for 50 chapters and not give a shit about the characters? Like, that's skill right there. And it's things like that that make me want to keep talking about series. It's like, what separates a series like the first one I talked about and a series like the second one I talked about? A series that connects me to the characters immediately, and the series that even after 50 chapters, like, I don't care. That shit is fascinating to me, and I love that authors like this just so clearly have that skill down, and I love it.
It's a slippery slope, right? Because I mean, it's very subjective of what, because like you said, because I know people who don't like this series.
Like, and that's the crazy part about like differing opinions, right? Like differing opinions is fascinating to me because like there's something that you and me can look at this series and be like, it's objectively amazing. How can someone not like it? And then there's other people that are just like, no, it sucks. It's crazy.
It's because I personally I don't see any negative towards this series, but like let's say like a series
only negative would be that the first 10 to 20 chapters I think were bad. Other than that,
despite that,
not even just Taiju, like the first 10 to 20 chapters were just slow.
It's like it is a fascinating thing because like I consider myself a very curious person to a certain degree, right? Like if a character doesn't like my series, if a person doesn't like my series, it gets me thinking like, why don't they? Like I love this series a lot, but they don't like it. Like
that shit fascinates me. Yeah, like how different brains work and shit. Yeah,
it's a very fascinating thing to think about. Like, why don't they like Black Clover? Why don't they like Gintama? Like, what about the characters do they see that I don't see? Right. So it's just I think it's a really fun way to think about it. You know, and Dr. Stone is a series that prides itself on its characters, and I think
really,
Dr. Stone,
like, honestly, it does.
Out of all the series we review, Dr. Stone right now is really good on keeping the characters and the story consistent to a degree. Dr. Stone. Remember how I told you in My Academia discussion that every manga has that one arc to where it falls flat. Dr. Stone hasn't had that yet.
I still think it was its first arc, honestly. Go back and reread the first arc. Like, I mean, maybe it'll be better now that I like the characters, but like, even Senku wasn't interesting to me until he went to the village where he met, you know, the people that he met now. You know, like they do the whole fake death thing, and then he shows up in the village that, you know, that he ended up ending up in, meeting Kohaku, and that's when the series picked up for me personally. But I even there was a time in the first couple chapters where I thought Senku was an annoying twat. And I don't use the word twat very often, but like, I remember, like, at first I was like, this Senku guy seems cringe as fuck. Like, there was a time where I was like, ugh, like, he's kind of, like, just, like, ugh. I don't know how to describe it. He was very, like, he reminded me of, like, the kind of character that would, like, adjust their glasses and go, I'm so much smarter than you, but he ended up not being that. Like, I think at first he felt like that. But then he kind of actually went from being douchey smart to like cool smart. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I really think there was a period in the beginning of this series where like the author was like kind of getting everything straight, honestly. And I'm glad that they did. Because it's ever since then it's been like nonstop fucking banger, honestly. What the fuck am I saying? Nonstop banger, man. But yeah, I guess anything else to talk about for you? I mean, just constant good. Like, Senku to me is that's another character I want to cosplay, but his hair is so fucking ridiculous. I don't know how I would do that.
Nothing for me, man. It's just a great chapter. 10 out of 10 for real. I like how even though there's not really much plot progression going on right now, we're still getting great character interaction, great slice of life level shit. So I'm happy.
Well, this is the perfect example of a series that can survive even when there's not plot shit happening, right? Like, think about this. The main goal was put forward a couple chapters ago where it was like, we're gonna get in the ship and we're gonna figure out what the fuck happened with the stone explosion, right? That goal was stated like over 5 chapters ago, and they haven't gotten on that ship yet. And in any other series I might be like, oh, it's taking too long, but in this series, no. Like, this is a series where I'm like, you keep giving me the characters being themselves and doing shit, it's amazing. The old man getting in that car and pimping over there was the best thing I've ever seen. Like, little things like that. And then Senku with the car, like, God, it's just perfect. Every time, like, these videos are always going to be just us being like, oh my God, I love these characters so much. Because that's what it is, bro. Like, this is what a Adventure of the Week series should be. Because there is still a through-line plot, but, like, a lot of the manga is just, what are they going to add to their Kingdom of Science this week, right? And I love that about it.
Man.
So yeah, final thoughts for you?
Enjoyable ride. Riding on that steam gorilla. And with that,
Peace.